Lahu Imox, the 13 water Trecena is just starting. This is the Trecena we're gonna be talking about the biggest injection of force that will require a tremendous and intense focus. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Maya the Keeper. This is our Trecena analysis. If you are new to our channel and don't know anything about the Maya calendar, I highly recommend you to start watching my playlist of fundamental videos that you can access just by clicking here in this card. And for those who are already following the Trecena analysis with me, we just wrapped up the Lahu Canil, the 13C Trecena. That was the Trecena that we spoke about the biggest potential of multiplication that could lead us to a very intense impulse. In other words, we are talking about how we're gonna prepare our land to be able to harvest a bigger abundance and how we're gonna do those things for yellowing this process. When we refer to us, we were talking about how we're gonna dose this stuff we ingest to be able to be more productive. Just like when you drink coffee, to stay more awake, or if you do a use of some pills, or even when you just need to relax, you go for some alcohol. So we needed to find the right doses to be able to handle our energy to apply into that, so maybe later we can handle heavier tasks. And also to be able to keep multiplying the results we have, or multiply the abundance we are looking for in your projects. And now we are starting the Lahu Imox, the 13 water Trecena. So this is the Trecena that we're gonna be talking about the biggest injection of force. So we're gonna be watering the seed, watering the land that we prepared in the past Trecena. But Imox, as you may heard me saying in the past videos, is a very intense NAWAL. It's a NAWAL that is extremely hard to control. It's a NAWAL of imprecisions. Just like when you do things with your hand that you have less precision. So you can work in some level, but at any time can go out of control. Or just like when you think you are building your sand castle safely, and then like a wave comes and destroys everything. So that's the Imox, is unpredictable. But if we did a good job at preparing the land, we might be able to go through with less damage if Imox goes to the cold side. So we need to be very, very focused on how we're gonna dose the things we're gonna do in this Trecena. How we're gonna dose our energy as well. We don't want things to go out of control. Imox can be very auspicious by giving us ideas outside of the box, but can be very fragile because it's also connected with the collective consciousness. So maybe you're gonna be picking up ideas that are not actually ours. You may confuse stuff. And that's what Imox talks about, like when you confuse, when you misunderstand, like when we lose the touch. That's why you talk about the imprecision that can lead into madness. When I talk, it really sounds that's not much positive things to talk about Imox. But when you are able to follow the right flow, Imox is the element that will inject force, that will give that power for things to fly higher. And we begin this Trecena with Junajpu, one ascending fire. One ascending fire is the new sacrifices that we do to achieve power or to get a reward. Like the sacrifices that we do to get the things we want, like how we're gonna use our energy to get that for us. If in the past Trecena everything went right, you prepared the land, you had like a ripeness, you were able to yellow all your projects, now you can see, the beginnings of this new reward that you can intensify in this Trecena, to inject some more growth into that. But you need to bear in mind that the word dose is very important. Just like if you are making a bonfire and you want the fire just to grow higher and to grow quicker, you may go and throw some alcohol, just like Imox. The fire can grow out of your control and you can end up burning yourself or burning the things that took so long for you to prepare. We need to start dosing everything very well, like dosing our energy, just like Toch is connected to the blood as our vital energy. Just like we say in Toch, like how we're gonna give a blood to achieve something. But we need to be smart, we don't want to end up paying with our health. So if everything went sideways in the past Trecena, everything went wrong, we ended up rotten all the projects. So Junajpu will be the repercussion of that you ended up burning yourself. And will represent a new beginning where you can be more cautious about the stuff that you're gonna be doing. So it's extremely important that you know how to do those from the day one. As some of you asked me in the past videos for me to give some suggestions what to do in each day, Juntor could be the day that you could see what is working out for you, what you are getting more results, or it's been more favorable for you to start focusing. That idea, that project, you start investing in that, so you're gonna be having more chances or making it grow instead of just trying the stuff that wasn't working before. Make sure you get already something that you know that is already working, you know you can handle it better. So start choosing things that you can handle the flow. And then we move to keep Tz'i, to dog. To dog, we can call it the retraction of the emotions. It can be a day where you can look back what happened in the past Trecena. If you have any emotional dysfunction, we can use that to recalibrate before moving forward. So it's going to be making the calculations we need. Because the Trecena may be requiring some emotional intelligence for us to be able to handle the flow. If you're not very careful with the emotions, it can be that spark that can make Imox overflow everything. So we need to do a very good calculation on how we're going to be handling stuff in this Trecena. Was there any emotional issue that you had to face in the past Trecena, like that led you to overdose stuff? Because Tz'ikin talks about when we are confused or we want something to escape the reality, because we are not able to handle or to face our emotions. Because sometimes you can be anxious about stuff and you're not able to handle, so we go that and abuse of alcohol, we abuse of sex, abuse of everything because you are confused in our emotions. So to dog, it's a day for you to take one step back to see what went wrong, a day for you to calm down your emotions and to work a little bit on how you're gonna handle your emotions for the things you want to make it grow in this Trecena. My suggestions for what you could do. When you already established this stuff, you're gonna be doing your main focus in this Trecena. So now work with the possibilities you're gonna have. What can go wrong, how you're gonna deal with the expectations if they fail. So the more we cover the scenarios, the easier it becomes for us to handle that emotionally. And then we move to Tz'i, 3-Hollower Monkey. 3-Hollower Monkey is opening the path for the ideas, for the creativity, for the work, for connecting the dots. So it can be a great day for you to come up with solutions to work with the growth. But remember, I'm gonna be saying again, we need to do the stuff very well in this Trecena. If you have many ideas, maybe your original project ended up diverging into completely different things. So if you already focus on the stuff that you gotta do, the reward and the growth that you have, to keep it simple, is the best you can do in a Tz'i. It can be a very, very auspicious day for you to think about the solutions that are gonna resolve the main thing you're sacrificing yourself for. So the better you are objecting in 3-Hollower Monkey, the best it's gonna be for your project, and the easier it's gonna be for you to keep the flow under your control. Because now 3 is a now that goes forward, but if it encounters like a barrier, we'll enter into divergence. So we can branch out into many different things. And the bats, as the thread, can get entangled. Of course, you can have brand new ideas to implement your projects, to see different possibilities. But remember that Imox is ruling the Trecena. So you may be picking up the wrong ideas and not being able to see it right now. So my suggestions to do, see the things that you got priority to start working on that. Like what is lacking, like what you need a solution to resolve. And then we move to Kahib for Pathfinder. For Pathfinder is the establishment of the path. In this Trecena, we are talking about this big flow, this big injection of force. So we need to establish the path that we need to walk, establish where the flow is gonna go. So after we open the path with the ideas, with the creativity, with the work, now you can make the pause or sit down to work with what we have to establish the path. What is the meaning behind it? So working in the concept to see if you're already following the road that you want to. And avoid to be stuck in the melancholies of things that didn't work. For example, if you open up with just putting so many ideas into your projects, now you need to sit down, you're gonna have more work to do, seeing like where everything fits. You're gonna be having to untangle all those ideas. But if you're able to focus, open the path with that work, now you can establish a little bit easier this path, like where everything is gonna go. You can already map where the water is gonna run, establishing the meaning for this new sacrifice that we started in this Trecena. My suggestions to do is the day that you can sit down and map, getting more insights of how things will work even further. So it's a time that you can stop and already see the pieces that Bats already gave you. And then we move to Hob 5 transformation. 5 transformation, we talk about the rough process of incompleteness. Everything in life, we need to face this process, and sometimes we don't have a pleasure working on them, but we need to face them. Just like everything in life, there is no shortcut for us to get like nice results, no shortcuts to make money. We need to work a lot, we need to face many processes of incompleteness. Just like when we reach our goal, there is always going to be another mountain that we'll be wanting to reach next. So there is always going to be a new process. Something that could work in the past, according to how things go, maybe not working anymore and requires some changes. So that's what we're going to be talking in now. It's going to be talking about the rough changes that we may ended up having to make. If the Imox Trecena are already pushing you into a flow that you cannot handle, or you see that something that was working in the project is not working anymore, now we need to face these rough changes. We need to be able to change the course if necessary. It's the Trecena that it's really easy, for us to lose the flow, for us to pick up ideas that are not ours. My suggestion to doing 5 transformation is to see if these changes are already aligned with your purpose that we established in the past NAWAL. So you can avoid, ended up losing your time or end up losing control of your stuff, being desperate. But if you see that it's required to do many changes to achieve that path, it can be the day that you can give an extra energy, you can work a little bit harder to have like the payoff, to make it grow a little bit more. And then we move to Akib Ishvalam, 6 Jaguar. 6 Jaguar is the heart of the development, is also the heart of the Trecena. It's the point of the Trecena where you can put things into perspective, to work on the development of the stuff. If our goal is to accumulate this growth, we can see if our sacrifices are already being enough to continue this development. But also if you feel we are falling into the boringness, you feel that things are not working or are just stopping, is the moment of the Trecena that you can put things into perspective, maybe exploring different possibilities so you can reach the growth you want for your project, to continue developing, making your sacrifices worth it. Remember, the issue is just like the planet Earth. So the planet Earth that has the fertility that's gonna make the plant grow. Just like in this Trecena, we're talking about watering the seed that we plant in the past Trecena. So Ishvalan is the earth that's gonna have everything growing. So my suggestions for 6 Ishvalan is for you to already start thinking about the stuff that you're doing. Sometimes it's not ideas that you need. Maybe you need some money to invest in your project to take a flight. Sometimes you need some extra people. So it's a day for you to explore, put into perspective the things that you need to continue developing, things that you need to continue following this flow and make sure things are flowing into this growth. And then we move to Ukub Tz'ikin, 7 Ego. 7 Ego is the intense focus, maybe the intense investment that is required. 7 is just like when you are in the canyon and you already know where we need to go. If in this Trecena we started with these new sacrifices to achieve a reward, to get the things we want. So Tz'ikin will talk about the investment that you need to do, the resources to make the fire grow, or the big investment necessary for the growth of the Trecena, or to keep things in the right flow, to keep things developing. So that's gonna be the main goal, keeping focusing on this growth. So Ukub Tz'ikin is a day for you to apply the stuff that you really need for this growth. But bear in mind that you need to be extremely focused to end up not destroying the stuff that you're already developing, not end up burning yourselves, with the things you're gonna be investing. So make sure you are in the right focus. Make sure like everything you're gonna be applying is gonna be for the good of this growth. But remember that Tz'ikin can be very easily disturbed. Just like this Trecena can go very easily sideways. My suggestion to do if you are already working or building a project, for example, You may be a day that you think about the money you are putting on that. If your goal is to make money, as Tz'ikin can talk about money, to make sure you do the right investments. Well, that's why Tz'ikin can be a very dangerous day for shopping. And then we move to Ajmaq, 8 Complementarity. 8 Complementarity is the return of the complementary actions, or the return of the good deals. It's also when we talk about the restart of the Trecena. After 7 Eagle, we already know where everything is going to accumulate. So now we just need to control the flow so it won't go sideways. As you heard me saying before, Tz'ikin represents also the midday sun. And Ajmaq can also talk about the blindness, when you're blind by emotions, you're blind by your goals, that you don't see what to do, you're just too excited about that. Just like when we fall in love, we do things not thinking straight. So Ajmaq talks about when we are too excited, just like when you look at the sun at the midday and it can blind you. So in the same way, if you just try to make a big fire since the beginning, you know, that light of the fire can already be too intense for you. If in the beginning of the Trecena we started with the new sacrifices to achieve power or to get a reward, so now we already know what you need to do to get this deal done. We already worked from the first part of the Trecena, no focusing. So 8 Ajmaq is just to return and make sure you have the complementary actions working to see you're going to be having the results you want to achieve. It could be a good day for you to go back and see what you did in the beginning of the Trecena. Now that you're returned, now you are more prepared. You already know where things can go sideways. If you're already blinded or too excited about something, maybe it could be the day where you can put your feet on the floor and start being more congruent about stuff. 8 Ajmaq can also talk about the return of the mistakes. Mistakes that we do when we are blind. So that's where we can make up for that. If you already did some wrong for some people, it could be the time that we can calm down a little bit, go to the person and make up. If you need to ask for forgiveness for anything, to walk our path a little bit more lighter, Ajmaq can be a great day for that. In the Maya lands, could be the common day for doing a ceremony for the newborns, because Ajmaq represents the cycle of the ancestors. And my suggestions of things to do in Ajmaq is for you to reassure you're walking with your feet on the floor. If you are aware of the mistakes you did, if you're not overlooking them, so make sure like you don't try to ignore them, pretend they don't exist, because that will influence more mistakes to come. Of course, sometimes we don't know if you're doing some mistakes or not, especially in the Imox Trecena, that we can be confusing stuff. Sometimes it gives us, that sense that we are walking the right path, that we're gonna have like an extremely growth. It can lead us to be blind. Go back to the first part of the Trecena and make sure you are working towards the same flow that we originally started. And then we move to Belaer Naor, 9 Thoughts. 9 Thoughts is the day of the inner organization. It can be a day that you can take for organizing the stuff that you need. The more organized you are, the easier it becomes for you to follow the plan, to keep the flow in the right way. It's a day for you to check if everything in the background, everything under the curtains where everyone's not seeing is running smooth. Remember in the beginning of the Trecena, we went through keep Tz'i, 2 dog. There was making the calculation, also maybe the emotional intelligence we will need for walking this Trecena. So 9 Thoughts is a day where you can reassure the plan is working internally. Because if a thing is going mess internally, you're gonna see the repercussion of that outside. See everything you work hard for just falling apart. So make sure the plan, is still intact. Make sure it is still organized. So my suggestion for 9 Thoughts is to do a management day. So you can see if everything is going under your control. Also, if things are not working because you are overthinking too much, maybe the emotions are playing some action here. Emotions are inflating. So make sure the emotions are also in place. And then we move to Laur, Tijax, 10 Cut. 10 Cut is the convergence of the healing, the convergence of the incision. It's a day where you can converge all of the ideas, get all your organization and see what you need to cut. In the first part of the Trecena we had Oshibat's Tree Monkey. Tree Monkey was talking about opening the path to create stuff, to come up with the solutions. So sometimes we may end up having too many ideas, as I said, that could end up taking to very different places that we didn't even expect it. So 10 cut after the day of the organization, it can be where you can get together with other people and see how you can build your plan better. Or a day you can do a brainstorm and to cut all the ideas you didn't need it, everything that wasn't adding anymore, and just stick with the things that is working. It could be also a day that you could go for healing with others. Sometimes you need a healing of something that you cannot do on your own. It could be a good day for you to reach out other people looking for their healing, looking for them to heal some stuff that you need. And then we move to Kawuq 11 sheet lightning. 11 sheet lightning is a now for you to spread your vision about things. Kawuq talks about this deep intuition. If in the beginning of the Trecena we established the path we need to walk, we were having like the sights to make sure we are following the meaning. So now we are able to see things in a broader way. So we can expand our vision, we can access like a deeper intuition into the stuff that we may be adding to our project, or things that can go sideways. We can foresee stuff to prevent trouble. And also can be a great day that you can squash anything that is troubling before it accumulates into madness. So my suggestion for Kawuq is for you to be extra open to listen to your intuition, where things can go. I know in this Imox Trecena we may be experiencing, listen to so many voices, so many ideas. Kawuq, it could be the day where I can really hear that intuition that comes from very deep. That intuition comes from the Ushlabi shell, like the soul of the earth. And then we move to Junajpu 12 Conqueror Sun. 12 Conqueror Sun talks about the extra glow. If things are running smoothly in this Trecena, you may be already seeing the growth, like all the potential of the growth you're gonna have. You remember in the first part of the Trecena, we talk about the Hop 5 transformation, the overflow of the process. Junajpu talks also about the battle that we need to face to overcome darkness. And we know facing the process sometimes is a challenge. So if you weren't able to handle all this process of incompleteness the fire transformation spoke about, 12 Junajpu will be talking about this intense battle that you need to overcome. Sometimes you need to face your fears to give that extra push to work into your projects, to be able to get over into that scenario that you felt in the dark. Just like the great aspect of transformation can also be the reason that makes us stay in the dark, because we don't know what to change, we don't know what to transform, or sometimes we know but we don't believe in ourselves that we are able to do these tasks to transform. We need to face this extra battle. But if you're able to follow the Trecena and work things through, you're gonna see Junajpu shining for you and giving that extra glow, showing that you are just getting the growth into your development. And then we move to the final day of the Trecena and the ruler Oshlahu Imox 13 water. 13 water is the accumulation of everything that we spoke about. This big injection of force that will make things grow. But also talking about the imprecisions that can lead into madness. That's why we need to be very, very focused about the stuff that we are doing. In the first part of the Trecena, we spoke about Waki Bish Falam, the 6 Jaguar, where you need to put things into perspective to see the heart of the development. So if everything went right, we were able to measure and dose stuff correctly, how we're gonna pour water into the earth for the seed that we planted in the past Trecena, and you're able to measure that well, you're gonna see that big growth. And the accumulation of these results you're going to be getting since you start sacrificing yourself in the beginning of the Trecena. But 13 water can also talk about the accumulation of many ideas that weren't talking to each other. It may be already messy. It's a day that we need to be careful, because remember, Imox can come and destroy things at any moment. It's a now of the floor. So we still need to be very, very focused about the stuff that we are doing, even when it's already accumulating. But remember, it's too much water, it's too much strength that is kind of hard to handle. That's why it's the imprecision. If you work everything right along the Trecena, it's going to be easier to deal with Imox. So it's a good day for you to inject some more force if it's necessary to do that, because Imox is a very, very powerful day that can use in your favor sometimes. And that's it for today's analysis. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, as usually, all I ask you is just to leave your thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and not subscribed and liked of what I'm offering here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to receive notifications. And I wish you a great Trecena ahead, and see you all in my next video.